What's up guys, Michio here, coming at you with another RPG Maker review. Today we are looking at the game Eyes Without a Face, released in November 2010 by Team Cascade. This game was pretty short, only took me about 20-30 minutes to complete it 100%. What the game lacked in length, it made up for in story, artwork. This game was actually made in 5 days for a Halloween contest. I actually looked into it to see if maybe they won or not, and they were actually disqualified for late submission, unfortunately. I think they would have won if they were properly entered, because I really enjoyed this game. I'm really excited to talk about this game. I had a lot of fun playing it, so let's just get right into Mask with No Eyes. Wait, did I say Mask with No Eyes? Oh, fuck. While I really did love this game, I do have a few gripes control-wise. Throughout the game, the only enemies you'll face you'll be trying to get away from. Whether it's chase segments, or they grab you, and you have to smash the shift button to get them off of you. Now, my only problem with this is, I don't know if this goes for everyone's computer, but when I smash the shift key like that, it brings up a window that says, do you want to turn on the sticky keys option? Now for me, there was a way to get the window to not show up every time, so it was only a problem like the first time that it happened, but that whole process is kind of an issue, only because there are 1 or 2 parts in the game where you mash the shift button to get the person off of you and then have to talk to them, and you press shift to advance the dialogue. So that was a problem for me, where I would smash the button for dear life and then it would start skipping dialogue directly after that instance. So I would miss dialogue. That's really the only con I have for this game, because they did such a good job. The layout of the game is very simple, but the artwork is beautiful. The architecture of the mansion that you explore is absolutely gorgeous. The dialogue flows really well. It's a very interesting story. Regardless of the length of the game, they were able to give a good beginning, middle, end story, tie up all loose ends. There really were only a few questions at the end of the game, and that was intentional. This game has 2 endings. I personally like the bad ending more than I like the good ending, only because I think it's a more interesting twist. They're both cliffhanger endings, which gives you the ability to think for yourself on what happened to the characters involved. I find games like that more interesting most of the time because you get the theories. There's the mystery of knowing that you're never truly going to directly find out what happened to these people, but you can make inferences based on what happened in the game. I'd like to just put it out there before I get into the story. This game was just so impressive for it to have only been made in 5 days. Usually, when you have such a short time frame for something like this, you rush things, something feel incomplete, you maybe don't come off as original as you wanted to because of the short time frame. It doesn't give you much time to think about what you're creating, the product you're creating. It's almost if you can tell that the product was rushed, which does happen, but this game was not the case. And to me, that's one of the most impressive things about this game. Getting into the story, you play as a young New York socialite named Carrie, who is driving home to her father's house to visit for the holidays. Now, her attitude is very bitter towards anybody that she communicates with, and you can really tell she does not want to see her father. She makes him out to be a playboy and just a bad person. She gives off really negative vibes. Now, the game actually doesn't start until you wake up in the middle of the night, and that's where you really start to explore the mansion where the game takes place. After a few enemy encounters and some snooping around, you start to realize what kind of person your father really is. You learn more about Carrie herself. Eventually you are left with that cliffhanger ending. Despite this fact, it doesn't feel like the game should have been any longer. You really get closure other than the fact that you don't really know what happened to Carrie. But they really cover their bases with everything else. Well, I would like to see more content from Team Cascade, or maybe an elaboration on this story, just because I love the story so much. They didn't really need to add anything else to the story. Overall, I'd say Eyes Without a Face gets a solid 7 out of 10. This was a really amazing game. I love the artwork, the storyline was very well laid out, and the game gave off this really old-timey retro vibe, which really takes from the movie that this game was based on, of the same name. I highly recommend this game if you have the spare half hour. It was a lot of fun, and it's something worth playing to get both endings. There's really only 2 options. It's pretty clear cut on how to get both endings. Alright guys, that's all I have for today. If you played this game or you're thinking about playing this game after watching my review, let me know what you think of it down in the comments. As always, I will be putting a link for the game and the needed software to play the game as well in the description box. Also, if you have any games that you would like me to review, I'd love to hear them. Definitely put those down in the comments. I'm always looking for recommendations, so I'd really appreciate it if you have anything you think would make for a good review. Well, that's all I have for today, so I hope to see you next week for my next review. Bye guys!